It's mystery parcel time. I don't know what that is. I've just made it up off the spot. I guess it's a thing now. If I have any more mystery parcels that need a time. Anyway, mystery parcel time. Because we have here a mystery parcel. I didn't receive it like this. It was in a bag, and then the parcel was in the bag. No, I don't get it either. So this is an item from Japan, and I'm not going to mess around. Let's just get it open. What have we got inside? Yes, I have already opened it just to check, because I had no idea when it arrived. But here we go. This is the King of Fighters 98 soundtrack on CD. Now, this is a new production. But a little focus would not go amiss. There we go. I mean, it should be focusing a bit closer, but I guess not today. It's from... You see, it's got this G logo here, but according to... Oh, apparently limited run has something to do with this, okay. Well, this was from Bandcamp, from the label Brave Wave Productions, but, you know, Brave Wave doesn't start with a G, does it? So I don't really know what's going on there. We'll find out what the G stands for and maybe put it here-ish. Anyway, you'll notice that it is the sealed. Now CDs, you're supposed to be able to unseal them without a knife or any sort of implement, but yeah, it's usually easier said than done, that. Let's just see how it goes. There's not going to be much really to see in here, I don't imagine, but it's nice, isn't it? Because it's I don't know, it's nice to have an official production of like a retro game soundtrack. They've also done Street Fighter 2 and what else have they done? I can't think off the top of my head what else they've done, but yeah, they've done quite a few. Also available on record, LP, vinyl, whatever you want to call it. But my record player's a bit crap, so I thought I'd go for the CD instead. I thought it'd fit better in my collection. And yeah, you got a lot of tracks. Now the thing is with the King of Fighters 98, the tracks are quite short, because as you're aware if you've played any sort of fighting game, matches don't tend to last much longer than like a minute and a half each, and that's if you're like both turtling and not hitting each other. So if you're actually fighting, then they don't last very long at all, so it makes sense to have short tracks. But if it'll focus, then maybe we'll find out that we've got 45 whole tracks. This light is in a terrible place, isn't it? I'm filming in a brand new location, so yeah, I'm discovering that this light is not in an ideal... It's focused on the light, but not on the CD. Come on. There we go. Yeah, 45 whole tracks. Including 2 different versions of Cypher, although one of them is just a shorter version of the other. And for some reason it doesn't have the vocals. In the arcade game it was something like, it all began in 94 and stuff like that. It doesn't have that on this track, but it has all the sound effects and stuff instead. Not instead. Despite that. I really don't get it. But yeah, I've not actually listened to any of the others. I imagine they're identical to the arcade game soundtrack, because of course we have the fantastic arcade artwork here. I've always really liked this, because it's kind of like... The whole King of Fighters thing isn't really real. They're all just actors, and this is kind of like the red carpet premiere or whatever. It's brilliant. I like the PS2 version. Has a fantastic cover art as well, where it's kind of like this sort of thing, but they're all in different sort of suits and they're inside. It looks kind of like the Continental from John Wick. Anyway, I imagine if you collected all of these, they would have very similar spines and they'd look really satisfying on your shelf. Inside, would you believe that we have a CD? Oh man, you just gotta love that classic SNK style artwork. Annoyingly, I can't remember the name of the artist who does this style, but yeah, it's great. And we've got Iori Yagami and Kyo Kusanagi looking all cool. Now, the other thing with CDs, you see, they designed this jewel case and they never sort of thought, okay, we could improve on this. Because to get the booklet out, you've really got to pick at it. Look. You can't... There's no easy way of getting the booklet out, because look, the page is sort of adhered to the front of the case. You've really got to attack it at the corner, and like it'll end up getting folded up and all this, and I don't know, there's no right way to get the booklet out of the CD case. I suppose this is the best way, really. What is in the book? It's got a folded edge now, great. So you got like a little booklet of the story of the game, I guess. King of Fighters 98 is it's sort of a compilation all-stars type game where they've included every single fighter from the previous 3 games, I think. 94, 95, 96 and 97, so 4 games, yeah. And Fatal Fury characters as well, although not all of them, I don't think. In the mid-1990s, video arcades were all the rage in Japan, the United States, Latin America and other parts of the world. Video arcades were all the rage everywhere. Whatever. Thanks in no small part to the prevalence of fighting games that pitted 2 players against one another in battles of wits and skill. By then, developer SNK had firmly established itself as a premier creator of arcade fighters, having produced hit franchises including Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting and Samurai Showdown. Art of Fighting... I tried playing Art of Fighting a while ago, and it was just... You could so tell that they've seen Street Fighter 2 and they've been like, we could do something like that. Because, yeah, the main character's called Rio, and he wears a gi with the sleeves torn off and no shoes. In fact, he does wear shoes. He wears like them wooden sandal things, but he kicks them off at the start of a fight, which is quite fun. But yeah, the other characters are, I don't know, they're not very well animated, I don't think, and the sprites are just a little too big for their own good. But it was very impressive at the time because it has all this screen manipulation and transforms and stuff. It zoom in and out of the fight. Oh, it was actually pretty impressive to look at, just not a whole lot of fun to play. Each of these explored the genre from distinctly different perspectives, introducing new ideas and memorable characters still appreciated to this day. But SNK was far from finished. 1994 proved to be a turning point with the studio's launch of the King of Fighters 94, a crossover fighting game featuring memorable characters. From a range of SNK titles, not just its fighting games. Oh, okay. I always assumed that the King of Fighters characters were all, King of Fighters characters, apart from the obvious ones like Terry and Geese and all that. They're from Fatal Fury, but no, it's kind of like they've got all these fighting games and then they just put them all into one fighting game. It's a strange situation, but it's a fun game, so whatever. Where you chose not one character to fight with, but 3. The name itself implied one of the most exciting aspects of King of Fighters, the idea of annual installments. Yes, they're not a new thing. Not a new thing whatsoever. And I find it kind of funny that if you... I've occasionally come across like forum threads and stuff where people have said, what's the best SNK fighting game? Or what's the best fighting game on the Neo Geo, I guess? Which would be SNK fighting games. And you've had like a bunch of different replies, and all of them have had a different version of King of Fighters that they like the best. So it's quite incredible that they are not only annual releases, but are apparently distinct enough that people can differentiate between, say, 96 and 97. And, I mean, some of the later Fatal Fury games and King of Fighters. Although they are a little bit different. Today's game players may be leery of annualised franchises, there we go. But back then, SNK really put in the work to make each King of Fighters installment a cause for excitement and celebration. Updated rosters, movesets, systems, storylines, oh yes, the main thing in a fighting game, the story. Oh, you can't read that at all, because it's refusing to focus. Music and animations made each King of Fighters feel like its own distinct game, one with the depth and longevity to hold players over quite readily, until the next instalment came around. Decades later, blah blah blah, I want to know about 98. KOF 98 was the combination of everything SNK had learned about how to make a truly great King of Fighters games, in particular featuring a huge cast of characters, of dozens of beloved characters from over the years, including the long-awaited return of some, sat out a few games since the very first installment in some cases. KOF 98 lived up to the dream, matching its subtitle as the biggest and best game in the series yet. Yeah, so the idea is it's got everything from the previous 4 games, plus, depending which version you play. If you play the, what is it called? Ultimate Match Final Edition, all this nonsense, that's the one on Steam. It comes with a whole bunch of other characters, so it's an even bigger King of Fighters 98. And we've got a nice little interview with the composer Hideki Asanaka. Hope I pronounced that right. I won't read all this because then what's the point? And yes, we've got some credits. So what actually... Yeah, look. So SNK, yeah, fine. Brave Wave Productions, fine. Limited Run, yes. No G. G is non-existent. We don't know what this G is. That's quite cute. And amazing, the Brave Wave they need to have a dark version of the logo, really, because that's their logo. So that is the booklet, and that is the CD. I mean, it's the King of Fighters soundtrack, so I don't think there's a whole lot of point in playing it for you. I guess I'll put a little bit in the background for you. I like how shiny it is. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but it's got sort of a luster to it. Very cool. But yeah, that's a really nice piece of, I guess, memorabilia to have from a really cool fighting game. Probably one of my favourites, even if I am no good at it. So, there we go. King of Fighters. The 98 one.